are doing double duty at this point, but really welcoming everyone to the St. Louis Region Childhood Community Leader Meeting. More and more people into the room where it happened.
I love your hat, Casey.
What does it say?
Kids win. I love it.
Do win.
This is how you know if I'm having a good hair day or a bad hair day or if I've done my hair. I just put on a hat. Daryl knows what I'm talking about. Daryl has a hat on.
I love it.
All right. And I will tell everyone that we have been asked um, to not take in recordings. So when your AI recorder comes into a meeting room, we will be doing our best to, unfortunately, not um, accept those folks. Don't ask me why the technology is the way it is, that is screwing things up with the AI recordings, but see Haley, we got our shiny backdrops matching.
Oh my gosh, love.
Love, 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 love. In about a minute, we'll get started. Yeah, and come off screen. If you can, come off screen. Because we'll be doing a little round of introductions here in a few minutes and just love to see everybody's face and see how you're doing. And um, I hope I am removing those note takers correctly. Um, but let's go ahead and get started, Nakia. 3 minutes after the hour. Welcome to the St. Louis Region Childhood Community Leader Meeting this month, August 19th, 2026 at 12:30 to 1:30. We connect, we reflect, and we're going to lead together here in early childhood in the St. Louis community. Next slide. My name's Lisa Graining. I am one of three of the St. Louis Region Childhood Community Leaders here. I'm the director of Turn the Page STL, and I strongly believe, as you all do, that literacy starts at birth, and that's why this work is very important. Tiffany Herbert, our third uh, uh, spoke of the wheel here, was not able to join us today. She has class. She is teaching high school students at the City of St. Charles School District, students that want to become early childhood professionals. So shout out to Tiffany. We miss you, but she'll be back next month. Nakia.
And I'm Nikia Brown. I am a program manager with United for Children.
It's wonderful. Next slide.
So today on our agenda, we're going to start with welcome and success stories. We're going to get updates on Child Care Works, how can you participate, and other supply building opportunities. With a presentation by Casey Hansen, Deputy Director of Kids Win. We're going to go over Missouri Family Resources, our newsletter, our St. Louis Facebook group page, and our Google folder, and our upcoming 2026-2027 meetings. And last, our questions.
The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this slide down. I'm going to put in the chat for you to come off mute. Tell us about your name, your organization, and what you're really excited about with your work this upcoming fall, this upcoming school year, I guess I should say. So who I know Nakia, why don't you start? Marshall be second. Nakia, do
Okay.
you want to start? Tell us what you're excited about at United for Children this upcoming year?
Well, I am most excited about all the new things that we are trying to put into play. We have launched our customer support package. So hopefully that'll get us into a bunch of childcare centers to be able to support them the way they need to be supported.
That is wonderful. I'm typing in the chat, but I don't want people to type in their name or their organization. I want you guys to come off mute. Take name, organization, and what you are excited about with your work this upcoming year, school year.
Okay,
Marcia, want to share?
my name is Marcia Carradine. I'm a parent educator of the North County. I'm excited about the new school year. I'm excited about the changes that they have made within the center where my office is. They have decided to reevaluate or reorganize classes. So we're going to have pre-K 5, which we've always had, but now it's kind of like organized. So 3 classes of pre-K 5, 20 students each with 2 teachers, 8 classes with pre-K children, 10 students, and 1 teacher, which in my opinion will give the teachers less of trying to accommodate 2 different age groups and learning. So it's more specialized to children that are about at the same skill level. And then the children that are getting ready to go to kindergarten will be with other children getting ready to go. And they will be focused on literacy, writing, math, and all of that. And then my success story is I referred a family, and this is their second child that they have worked with First Steps with.
Riverview. This is Riverview Gardens, right, Marcia?
Yes, Riverview
Okay.
Gardens.
And is this at one of the elementary schools, or does Riverview
Well,
Gardens have their
actually,
own stuff?
Michelle Obama is the only early education center in the
Okay.
district. So we
Okay.
don't have, we tried to do that, but the buildings just won't accommodate the little ones. So we got to keep everybody in this one building. So
Got it.
but I think this new the way they've set it up is going to really benefit the children, the teachers, and the families a lot more. I think they're going to see their children excel more and then be ready to go into the pre-K 5. So it's kind of like a little mini school. And
That's
then I got
great.
my parent that had 1 child go through First Steps. And then now we talked about speech with her younger child, and she was just evaluated yesterday. So I'm just glad that parents are taking advantages of the services early on. Early on.
Prevention is everything. How
Early
many
on.
parent educators are in the Riverview Gardens School District?
Right now we have 5.
That's fantastic.
We have 5.
That's fantastic.
I'll go.
Please.
Okay. I'm
Hey,
Haley
Haley.
Hoskins. Hello. I work in the Office of Childhood, and something I'm really excited for this year is getting more access to Missouri Family Resources backend and being able to dig for more data that I haven't been able to find. So I'm very excited for that.
Haley, not to put you on the spot, but I will. Do you want to say a little bit more? We talk about Missouri Family Resources every month, but tell us a little bit from your perspective. What is Missouri Family Resources?
So, Missouri Family Resources to me is a really cool app that or website that everybody can use. And it's very easy to find all these great resources. And my favorite thing with it, honestly, is because before I moved to our outreach section, I was in home visiting, and then some of that funding went to CTF and some stayed here. So I actually got home visiting stuff, but also parent ed. And just seeing when I actually went and did monitoring visits, parent educators using the app with their families and not having to have a big binder. And that translates to everything else as well. Just like also being a teacher at one point myself, just knowing how useful the app can be to translate to anybody, not even just early childhood, but there's so many resources in there that it just it takes a whole bunch of people to keep talking about it and bringing it up. But once you do and you're using it, it's just such a great resource. So I hope that answers your
So,
question, Lisa.
right. So if Marcia is in a home, she's a parent educator, and she sees that they're having transportation difficulties or food insecurity or utilities, is what does Missouri Family Resources, what do they, what can she find for that family?
So she can find all kinds of different free resources that are in that actual zip code. So when you go on to Missouri Family Resources, you search it by zip code and then whatever you're looking for. So whatever income status the family has, they can get those resources.
It's very cool. I'm going to
Is
put the link to it. Go ahead.
so if there is so is this citywide, so city and county, no matter what zip code they put in, or is it just county?
It's so you look it up by zip code, but it'll show
Mhm.
everything in that
Whatever
county,
zip code I
basically.
put in.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the entire state of Missouri.
Okay. Okay.
So, and then what's also important is that you all's organizations are also listed. So go in and make sure that your organization is listed correctly, and you'll want to maybe take ownership of that so that you can change your organization at any time. Oh, Kimberly, thank you. That made me feel good. Come off mute. What are you excited about this upcoming year?
I'll go
Daryl.
very
Happy to-
quick. Oh,
Oh, go ahead.
No, Daryl goes because I haven't seen Daryl in a long, long time.
Nothing to see here. No, anyway, I'll be quick. It is good to see Lisa and good to see Casey and everybody. So thanks for letting me be part of this call today. Real quickly, Daryl Rothman, president of Good Shepherd School for Children. I've been in this role for about 2.5 years, but privileged to be serving the early childhood community in St. Louis pretty much my whole career. Um, Real quickly, the thing I'd say I'm most excited about this school year and this year overall in 2027 it's going to be Good Shepherd's 60th anniversary, and we'll have a lot about that. Not only, of course, a celebratory nostalgic thing, but there's a real urgency. Like many standalone nonprofits, times are lean for all of us, but we're facing our challenges, so it's doubly an opportunity to the main mantra is going to be preserving the past, celebrating the past, but preserving the future. We want to be here at least another 60 years. So opportunities to celebrate those serving our field who've been part of Good Shepherd, part of the broader early childhood community, but also really band together and try to increase awareness and opportunities to get increase much needed resources to keep our mission going. We're a really unique center. Kind of at the heartbeat of what we do is inclusive programming. We know that's never a finished product, but trying to really serve to the best of our ability children with and without special needs and have excellent kindergarten readiness and life readiness. So we've created some alumni groups and some no shortage of stories. And so you'll be hearing a lot about it, but we recognize that all of us are stronger when all of us, as Lisa alluded to off the front, are really partnering and working together. So I'm always thrilled to be able to link up with an esteemed group like this. So good to see everyone.
Where is Good Shepherd located?
Yeah, 1170 Timber Run, just slightly north of Olive, a little bit west of 270, but it's, everyone, we hear that every week. Like me being in the field so long before I knew I'd work here, like, we had family friends who had kids come through and be part of it. So I'd heard of the center, and there are several different Good Shepherds. So we're Good Shepherd School for Children with the inclusive mission. But unless someone has reason to kind of go over that, turn onto Timber Run and go down that hill because it's mostly residential, they don't always know where we are. So like many struggle with, we're one of those proverbial best kept secrets. So getting the word out there and awareness of our mission and what we do, always working on that and welcome partnerships with that. But anyway, again, thrilled to be on this call today.
Awesome. That's awesome. We're going to start highlighting you.
Oh,
in your
appreciate
work.
it.
That's
Appreciate
awesome.
it. And anything, by the way, I mean, we like to be good partners too, of course. So anything I can do, Good Shepherd can do to do likewise and help spread the word and be a good facilitator if and as appropriate for any and everyone part of this would be our pleasure.
Wonderful. Casey,
Yeah, and I know I got to present too, so I'm really excited about Childcare Works. I'll talk about that. Casey Hansen, Deputy Director with Kids of Missouri. My son is going to kindergarten, my baby, and so, I'm excited about that slash very weepy the last couple of days. Um, Definitely. And because Daryl was talking about the 60th anniversary of Good Shepherd, I would also just shout out I'm on the board at Lee May Child and Family Center where my son has gone since 10 weeks old and he just finished. And so we're celebrating our 50th anniversary this year, which is really exciting, serving families in South St. Louis County. And so yeah, I've been really excited about that too. But I'll talk all about Kids with Missouri too. We're bringing on 3 new staff in the fall, and I'll tell you
Wow.
guys all about Childcare Works too. So
All right, stay tuned. Others like to share what they're excited about.
I can go next.
Hi,
So,
Rachel.
hey, so I'm with Cornerstone Kids Preschool, something that I'm super excited about and kind of nervous as well. I'm moving into another leadership role, so I'll be moving out of the classroom and transitioning to assistant director. So I'm excited about that. I know it's a lot of work. Something that makes me excited about it is that we have a lot of new kiddos this year. So just being able to connect parents with resources, a lot of our parents don't know exactly what they have access to. One of my success stories, we had a kiddo whose mom was really struggling with getting him to communicate effectively with her. And he's 3, so he would babble a lot. And she had never heard of first steps or anything like that. So I did get her connected with First Steps. We have a partnership with the Bell Center. So they come out and they'll evaluate our kiddos, and they came to the house, to her home, and they were accepted. So that was really exciting for me, and mom was so relieved. And that's just one of many stories that I can share. So just being able to connect parents, and also working with staff. We have some new staff and they're great. So being able to sit in with the classroom with them, help them with curriculum, and other standards, that's awesome.
That's fantastic, Rachel. Congratulations. I know Marcia put in there, what is the name of the center? Marcia, who are you asking?
I was talking to her. Did she say that she worked at a center? I didn't hear the whole
Oh,
name.
Rachel works at Cornerstone. Yeah. Go ahead,
Yes,
Rachel.
Cornerstone.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
cutting in and out. Yes. There
Anybody
was a
else?
power outage here. I'm sorry, you all, in
Oh,
the
Oh, wow.
Normandy area. Yep, so I'm cutting in and out.
So it's Cornerstone. Is that the one in the city?
No, so we're located in Northwoods.
Oh, really? So did they have one in the city?
there is one.
there
So,
is one.
right, so there is another Cornerstone I know with a C. We're with a K.
Oh. Oh, you're
Separate.
with a K. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna look you guys up.
Yeah, no, wonderful place. Wonderful place.
Yeah, I never heard about them. Okay. I will look you up.
Mhm. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll jump in. I'm Joanne Suda. I'm on the board with Special School District. I'm looking forward to a brand new year, welcoming students from ages 3 to 21 for special education. Most students receive their education in their home district. We partner with every single school district in the county on early childhood education. And remember, once a child is 3 years old, they're eligible for services through SSD beginning on their 3rd birthday. So get in touch with us if you have students who really need that kind of support. It's wonderful and it's there.
Wonderful, Joanne. Yes, if anybody ever has questions about SSD and you're uh, send something to Nikki or me, and we will get you to Joanne, who is uh, the guru here for the St. Louis region. Anyone else? I used to have to call on people. Oh, Dana, come on, yeah. What's going
Okay.
on?
Hi, my name is Dana Walker. I'm the Director of Children's Services for Bell Children's Services of St. Louis Arc. So we are really looking forward to expanding into more centers Some of our partner centers are on here, like Good Shepherd and Cornerstone. Just recently, we signed an MOU with Premier Charter, so we just started there last week. So we're hoping to pick up a couple more centers in this coming year and expand our reach in our services within the community.
How many childcare centers are you in? I know you're in many in Normandy area.
We're in 43 right now in the St. Louis City and County.
Fabulous. Fabulous, fabulous. Put your your way to contact you, Dana, if anybody'd like to, or what's it, Bell Center, St. Louis ARC is. That'd be great. Okay. Well, if you think of something, put it in the chat. We may have time at the end. We usually don't. But we'll come back to you. And with that, I think we'll just go ahead, Nakia, we'll just go ahead and introduce our speaker who can then share her slides. Because Casey knows how well I do with sharing slides. I've asked her to share her own. Casey Hansen is with us. She is the Deputy Director of Kids Win Missouri, and she is going to be giving us updates on childcare works, how you can participate, and other supply building opportunities. Thank you, Casey, for joining us.
And what's my time now, do you think? Like to cut off?
15, 20.
Okay. I'm gonna try to stay within that. Okay. Hi, everybody. Good to see you again. If I just want to know, like, who's aware of Childcare Works, or what do you know about it? So if you've heard of it, give me an emoji of some sort. Okay, maybe a couple, not any emojis yet, but okay, there's some emojis. Okay, great. Well, I just wanted to gauge that because I'll try to move as fast as I can, and I will share this slideshow because it has a lot of information on it about the program. But everyone on this call knows the challenge. Working families struggle to afford childcare, and to find childcare they can afford. Employers are struggling across the economy to recruit and retain good employees, and childcare continues to be a persistent issue for families and the workforce. Childcare providers struggle to maintain their own workforce, but also to have stable funding. And communities are struggling because of this, because, families and workers are at the root of communities. And so when those things aren't supported, then that's where our communities fail. So you all know all that. So Kids Win Missouri over the last 3 to 4 years has engaged now up to 19 different communities across the state. And affordability was one of those common themes that came out of that. And that's where Childcare Works was born, and in looking at what some other states were doing. And it's really a public-private cost-sharing model to distribute the cost of care between families, employers, the public sector, and philanthropy so that becomes more affordable for families. We're able to maximize public investments by leveraging private investments to offset them and really, triple their investment and that kind of thing. And so in Missouri, this kind of works where community intermediaries are assigned a number of slots for their communities to try to fill, and then their job becomes going out, recruiting employers to participate. Once they have those employers, they can begin to sign up their families. And then that cost of childcare is split between the family, the state of Missouri, and the employer. We collect it all together in one system and send that one payment to the childcare provider. So it's a nice way to kind of hopefully help streamline what that looks like in terms of collecting all the money, getting it to the provider. But again, the benefit being it really brings down the cost of childcare for any one group. So the platform we use is Tutris, and Childcare Aware of Missouri partner on running that platform. It's kind of the infrastructure behind it all. So it really creates a one-stop shop for families, providers, and employers to use the system, enroll in the program, complete all of their required agreements, and then that's ultimately what they pay through. It's a central system for determining eligibility. So with Child Care Works, families' eligibility does have to be determined. So families have to be between 151% of the federal poverty level. So just, not eligible for subsidy or any of that. And then up to 550% of federal poverty. So families have to fall within that. And then depending where they're eligible within that, so if they're 200% of federal poverty or 500% of federal poverty, the state match is different. So families that are closer to that subsidy level, the state's portion is going to be greater. Families that are closer to that higher end, the state's portion is going to be less. And then the family's portion is a little bit more. So that's kind of how that piece works. So how does it benefit employers? I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I think we all understand when employees are supported, when they can be in the workplace, when they're not thinking about what's going on with their kid and their kid's safe and all of that. It's going to help with retention, productivity. It's going to attract people into those jobs because that's an awesome benefit. If you can have your childcare be much, much cheaper, it's going to put money in your pocket. And it's a way to invest in a talent pipeline, right? Because employees are only going to be having children for a pretty short portion of their life, right? And so supporting them during that period is going to keep them with you longer term and help you attract that better talent. For childcare providers can participate as a provider, but they can also be an employer. So most childcare providers offer childcare as a benefit to their employees. They can participate in this program, and it helps it make it cheaper for the employee. The provider also gets to recoup some of that funding from what the state's putting in. So they're able to benefit that way as well. This also is just another thing that they can advertise where Child Care Works. We take that benefit. It gives them consistent enrollment and payment. They get paid, the way that providers want to be paid, like the private market. So they get paid prospectively and monthly based on how they have their payment set up. So it's a consistent payment for them. And, there is an onboarding process, but I think once providers are onboarded, enrolled, it's pretty seamless how it all works. So this just goes over kind of that financing mechanism. This year in the budget, $5 million was approved. So last year we had $2.5 million for Child Care Works. This year, $5 million was approved, but $2.5 million was restricted, not vetoed. That's important, distinction, but it is important in the grand scheme of things, because if that money does become available, then we could offer Child Care Works to more families. So this just kind of shows the state's contribution is up to 40% of the child care subsidy rate for that area. So it does depend on things like age group, though, obviously infant toddlers more than preschool aged, etc. The sliding scale takes into account geographic location, household income, and the child's age again. So, it's just kind of like the subsidy system in that way that like there's the different regions where the rates are determined a little bit based on that. And then as well, like based on where the parent falls between that 151% of federal poverty and 550, the state's contribution is less or more. The employers, they have to pay based on the appropriation language at least 30% of the cost of care. What we have done with the system is determined kind of a flat fee for the employer based on their geographic location and the child's age. This is just easier for employers to budget throughout the process of developing program. We realized if the employer's contribution was too variable, it was going to be harder for employers to want to buy into that because they can't really budget for that then. So this just allows to create, a consistent number that they understand going into it, what their contribution is going to be, and that kind of thing. And then the family is expected to cover the remainder of the cost. Now, how Child Care Works is going right now, the average family participating is saving between $620 and $700 a month. So think about the families that if that would be helpful for them to have that amount of money back into their pocket. I think most of us would agree it would be helpful. So Okay, also, in the one big beautiful bill, which, you didn't like all of that bill, but there were some really good tax provisions in that bill that improved the federal employer provided childcare tax credit. So eligible employers can also layer this tax credit on top of childcare works. So for their contributions into childcare works, they can also get the tax credit, and they're getting that money back in the form of a federal tax credit. So this kind of goes over the rules of all of that. So, oh, this says current law. That's actually the blue column is actually the old law. So the new law in the orange, now instead of just getting 25% credit, big businesses get 40%, small businesses get a 50% credit. And then the cap is now 500,000 and 600,000 versus what it used to be. So you're also the intermediary provision of this. We also got that changed so that it could layer on top of childcare works. So that's another thing that, obviously we're not accounting professionals, we're not tax professionals. You have to meet with your accountant to see, depends on your tax status and all of that. But this is just another benefit on the table for employers to layer on top of that. So this just shows kind of, some of the math of what childcare works can be like. So currently, without childcare works, a family, might be paying $9,000 a year. That's pretty low for St. Louis. This is kind of a state average. I think St. Louis is higher probably. So $9,000. When you bring in childcare works and the employer in that second column, employer is paying $2,574, Missouri's paying $3,432, then that parent is paying, less than $3,000 a year. So they went from $9,000 to a little bit less than $3,000. Then the far right column shows even further when you layer those tax credits on there. So you have in the gray on top, the employer would contribute $1,287 and they would get $1,287 back in a federal tax credit. Missouri contributes $3,432. The parent also qualifies for the child care and dependent tax credit, where they can get the tax credit for what they pay for child care. So they get $1,048 in that. And then the parent's ultimate contribution, once you take in all the tax credits and everything, the family's childcare bill is down to $1,946 a year. So it makes a pretty big difference. It's exciting. We just need more people to get involved, get enrolled, right? We have slots available in St. Louis. These are the employers that are currently participating in the St. Louis area. You can see 4 of them are childcare providers. So that gets back to what I said, where childcare providers have to enroll in order for a family at their center to participate anyway. So their center has to be enrolled. So there's more centers are enrolled in that capacity. But these 4 are actually offering this benefit to their employees. So and from my own, I mentioned Lee May Child and Family Center, they're participating. One of our teachers went to saving $150 a week, and she's pregnant with another child. So that's just with her one baby. She's pregnant with her second. So, I mean, this is life-changing money for our early childhood professionals. We talk about that all the time. How can we put more money in their pocket? This is another way for doing that too. But you can see there's Four Hands Brewing is participating. E-Trailer is participating in the St. Charles area. I brought that in too because I know we have some St. Charles on this call. We have slots available though, right? We have space to take on more employers in the St. Louis area. And so that's part of this call. Some of you might run an agency where you want to participate as an employer, but a lot of you might know small business owners. You might be married to a small business owner. You might, know someone in your life who owns a business that this could be an attractive option for them, especially, if they tend to employ a lot of people who have children. So across the state, we have, local cities participating. The city of Grandview is participating. Kansas City is using the model. They have a separate funding source, but they're doing it for their first responders. So that's another thing that's happening in Kansas City as well. just to tell you that. And then the other thing I want to point out in St. Louis is we have a great philanthropic partner in JSMF, the James S. McDonald Foundation. They have put in money for 2 years to help offset the employer's portion if they're located in St. Louis. So that means, that employer's portion is supposed to be 30%. JSMF is saying we'll pay half of that. We'll pay 15%, you pay 15%, and then, you're drawing down the money from the state. So that's a huge opportunity for small, medium-sized businesses in St. Louis to really look at, I think. If you are thinking about getting in, but you're like, it's a lot of upfront costs, we might not be ready, that's a great opportunity to help offset that cost for the first year or two as well. And then there's tons of opportunities because we have, they're trying to get more local funding on the ballot. I know some of the local children's services funds have looked at if funding slots is a possibility. And that's another thing about this model. It is flexible. So that employer portion, we talk about it a lot as employers. It can also be local funding. So the local community, if you pass a ballot initiative, the local community could decide we're actually going to cover that employer portion with local funding, and leverage the state funding. So that is allowable too. So we tried to keep it flexible for that reason. So if you want to participate in Childcare Works, Gateway Early Childhood Alliance was our partner, and they're having a transition. So right now, Robin Phillips at Childcare Aware of Missouri is kind of taking the lead on getting employers onboarded, all of that stuff. If you're an employer outside of St. Louis, the Childcare Works website, there's a communities page. I see the lovely and talented Kimberly Weekly on the call, who is newly on that page as a partner from St. Francis County. But you can find your partner in your local community if it's participating. And then Childcare Works is also the default contact if you're anywhere else in the state where you don't have a specific contact listed. Childcare Aware can help you as well. And then for providers interested in signing up, just getting enrolled and on that Tutris platform, so that if you have a parent who comes to you and their employer is participating, you'd be ready to go. Reach out to Megan Burks on my team. She is responsible for that. I know Tutris is also doing a ton of incentives. So I think you get like a gift card or some incentive just for signing up. And then if you utilize the system, sorry, my child came home with his dad and he wanted to come in. If you utilize the Tutris system for your childcare management, you can also get like various cashback promotions and things as a provider. So it's definitely something to look at and talk to Megan about getting that information. And then I also briefly wanted to talk, the other thing, I said out of our community planning work, that's where the idea for Childcare Works came. That's not the only thing our communities are working on. Our communities have also been working on various supply building projects, workforce initiatives, quality initiatives. Each community was allowed to determine their priorities, and then they've been working on those things. One thing that spun out of that is our new Family Childcare Champion program. So we learned in some of our most rural communities that families were more comfortable sending their children to in-home facilities, but there just aren't many licensed in-home facilities or quality in-home facilities, and there's a lot of things happening off the radar. So in order to kind of combat that and begin to increase the quality, build supply of those licensed slots in rural areas, we developed a Family Childcare Champion program that's really aimed at connecting with those people that are really interested in taking the next step to open a licensed family childcare, giving them hands-on technical support and one-on-one support, helping them navigate the licensing process all the way through the end, and then giving them funds also to help them maybe make some of the minor changes and things that they need to make in order to become operational. So this just kind of overview, this is just taken directly from the flyer, and I'm sorry it's a little bit blurry, but from participating, the folks will get one-on-one support. They get a pre-licensing site visit that's kind of personalized to them to help them prepare. They get checklists and support on getting their home ready, and then they can get up to 2,500 in a mini grant that again kind of helps them make if they have like small things they need to do to their house or get supplies or those kinds of things. This will help with that. So that's a newer thing, but we already have some of our first sites that have made it through licensing or are about to become licensed. So it's very exciting. It's coming to St. Louis as well. Megan on our team again, and then you might all remember Jackie Weaver from Southside Early Childhood. She's working with us on this program too. So they're really the ones that are right now providing the one-on-one support to the programs that are going through that process. So I haven't looked at the chat, so I'm gonna see if there's anything
Me
there.
neither.
Not
I
really.
was
Okay.
engrossed.
No
I have
questions,
one
but
question, Casey, though.
yeah,
If back
please.
with childcare works, just
Yeah.
I know you talk about 500% federal poverty level. I know that this is not, but if I'm an employer and my employee makes $60,000 a year, would they qualify for childcare works?
It all depends on the household, right? It's based on household income. So
Household, so there could be,
it depends how much their husband makes. But I want to
right?
say like I mean, it's a fairly high amount. And I'm
Really?
like, Kimberly's on the call. Is it like
One,
175,000 for a family of four, maybe?
yeah, something like that. But they would duo share, right? I mean, even if they make above that threshold for the tri-share,
Yes.
families and employers can choose to help enroll in
Oh,
duo share no matter what that. Is that correct, Casey? I don't want to.
Yeah. So I was trying not to go too deep, but yeah, so there are, no, it's okay. There's still other options. So some employers, they don't have to do the state portion because it has those different restrictions and things on it. They can also use the Child Care Works and Tutorist system to just do the tax credit. And we call that duo share because it's just splitting the cost of childcare between the employer and the parent. And then they're getting the tax credit for it. But they can use the system still to help manage that benefit for their employees because it helps track all of the information. It gets the payments out to the different centers so that the employer doesn't necessarily have to mess with all of that administrative stuff behind just managing the tax credit. So yeah, that's an option. And we have some employers who are looking at doing the tri-share for some of their employees and the duo share for other employees.
wow.
So you might have like management employees that they're going to make too much money to qualify for the state portion, but you might still want to offer them a childcare benefit so they can do duo share, but you might have some lower level or lower paid employees who are eligible for the full childcare works. So you participate with them in that way. So I think that is why, in a small way, this is taking so long to get employers on board because there are a lot of internal decisions that have to be made about how you're going to offer this benefit to your employees, especially for big, large organizations who, they have to consider equity across their employees and how they want to, disperse the benefit. There's only so many slots available as well. So even if they wanted to provide it to everyone, there's not enough state money. So then they have to kind of make some of those decisions. So we do have a team to help kind of walk through that and let them know what all those decision points are and that stuff. But I think that's why sometimes it does take time for them to figure out their internal processes and then the budget piece as well.
How many employees does a business have to apply?
No minimum. I mean, I just talked to Jeff City one where right now they only have one employee that can participate. Like they were kind of trying to get it for more of their employees, but the other thing is employers can sign up thinking their employees would be eligible, but when you do they check their household income and everything, they're like, oh, actually, your combined income is too much.
Got it.
So,
Got it.
so it just kind of depends. Good questions, though. Anybody else?
Any other questions?
Talk to
I
your
will,
HR department. Get your
we'll get
folks
this
signed.
information out to providers. I know you have been, but we'll push it out for providers to just at least sign into the platform.
Yeah,
And we will be sharing all these slides afterwards.
awesome.
Going once? It's a lot to absorb. It's a lot to think through, but we're trying, I think, the budget's only going to get tighter in our state. And thanks to Kids Win Missouri and many of you on this call, we're just trying to figure out the best way. What is the best way that we can make sure our kids are in quality, good, affordable childcare? Yes, Marcia, I agree. She said. Good
Thank
Casey.
you.
Well, Nakia, would you like to bring up the remaining parts of our meeting? And some of it we've already actually covered. Okay, I'll just keep talking. No, I'm just kidding. Well, what I am Nakia is gonna put up the next slide is about what we talked about at the beginning of the meeting, which was about Missouri Family Resources. And I use it as an app on my phone. You can get it directly on just by Googling it. I put a link in the chat. But most importantly, do you, as an organization, have it on your website? Do you have it on your homepage so that when families are coming to you, they can see it? So it's not only you having it with you to help families when you're serving them, but when they come to you from they look at Good Shepherd as a good place to maybe come and have their child attend. They see this on the homepage and go and find the resources that they need. And it's pretty amazing. It's legal, it's just a lot of resources throughout Missouri. Oh, are you not a co-host? Is that
The PowerPoint is not up there?
No. Whoops, sorry. Now you should be able to, I don't know why that clicked off as you. Sorry, Nakia.
Okay, let me get it together.
Probably have to stop share and share again. And
Well,
also,
Nakia, doing that, I'd like to just brag on with the Missouri Family Resource just a little bit about the data piece of it statewide, that there's been over 2,000 different resources added to that. We had over that 56,000 searches last year. And one thing that we saw a huge growth in is, yes, programs are adding. They're adding themselves, but we can still, add to, just send it to your community leader and we could help support that. But more importantly is they're starting to claim their programs. So they're taking ownership, like Lisa said, of that actual information. So if your hours change or a phone number changes or anything, you can go in live and you have ownership of that information that you could change yourself. So anyway, I just wanted to share some great
take ownership.
Yeah.
Take ownership of, so when you get off this call, go into your organization, go into Missouri Family Resources. You guys can click on the, I always forget what that's called. Click on that, take a picture of Missouri Family Resources. What do you call that thing? QR code. And look up your organization, make sure that it's all filled out correctly. And like Kimberly said, you can take ownership of it and then you can make changes on your own organization whenever you need. Hey, next slide.
Okay, wait, because clearly I'm having some technical difficulties.
It looks good on this
I'm
end.
sorry. Do you see the
Missouri
presentation
Family
and
Resources.
you see the everything? You see the Missouri Family Resources now.
Yes,
Okay. Do you see the speaker notes as well?
yes.
Okay. I don't know how to change that. Okay. Let's just move forward because we're
We'll
gonna run
move
out of time.
forward.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No worries.
Our St. Louis Regional Monthly Childhood Community Leader newsletter comes out twice a month. And if you have any success stories or anything like that you would like to share, please contact Lisa so that you can get that information right over to her, and she will gladly add it to our newsletter. And we will also have a newsletter that come out after this meeting.
That's right. And we have the newsletter goes to the 115 stakeholders. You are one of them. The other newsletter goes out to 600 plus providers in the St. Louis region, which is St. Louis City, St. Louis County, and St. Charles. So you might be getting both of them if you're a provider. So it's exciting. And how many people here check out our Facebook page? We're still in process of making it a public page, not a group page. But all this information that we get all the time, we post about it. And we want you to be able to feel comfortable posting your information. The more we share, the stronger we are. Next slide.
So reminders, do you know of additional early childhood educators in the St. Louis region who would like to join this group? If so, please introduce them to us. Share your information and resources for us to post on the second St. Louis Childhood Community Leader newsletter and post on our St. Louis Regional Childhood Community Leader Region Facebook page. Reminders, we have a shared STL Community Leader Stakeholder Google folder.
So all of the documents that you see today, everything that we do is in our St. Louis Region Childhood Community Google folder. That will be on, that link will be on the newsletter that you'll receive by the end of the week. That will also include all of the slides, the recording, the notes, and a lot of information here. If you want to share information on that newsletter, you can email me, but if you put it on our Facebook page, I'll see it and I'll copy it and put it on our newsletter too. Okay, next slide. Next meeting is Wednesday, September 16th at 12:30 virtually. Please, 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 lisa.graining@turnthepagesTL.org. I'll put it in the chat. If you do not have a meeting scheduled through May,